actually, you know what? I don't know if this video is gonna get copyrighted, so I don't even know if I can make the sound, but you already know the vibes. Welcome to E&JHITZ, man. We are here, we are live. We are about to watch Best of Anime 2020. Let's get right to it, baby.
I'm just gonna throw out the elephant in the room to get it over with. You know it, I know it. 2020 was just the Game of Thrones season 8 of years. Somehow, the scriptwriters managed to make this an unending barrage of nightmarish plot twists even M. Night Shyamalan couldn't see fucking coming, while also making it feel like the most boring filler arc of my life. But hey, at least we had anime. Kind of. I'll be honest. I've been marathoning through as much anime as I could for the past month, trying to catch up with the year, but even then, I've watched way less than I usually would. I don't think I have enough to talk about the best of each respective categories like I usually would, so instead, I'm just gonna revert back to some old school YouTube clickbait and do my top anime I've seen this year. Before we get to that though, here's a quick rundown of all the other things I wanted to talk about that happened this year. Studio Passion started 2020 by drawing the line between hentai and anime with invisible ink. Interspecies Reviewers just straight up aired a hentai scene, which I constantly have to remind people happened earlier in the year, not in 1947. A revolution was started against Mao. Funimation yeeted out faster than you could say Oni-chan, my hips are moving by themselves. The anime community was ablaze, and in between all this, Interspecies Reviewers actually aired. Honestly, despite how many boundaries this pushed and how explicit it was, I really found it to be a funny comedy that was just me and the boys hang out in a hentai, made for degenerates by degenerates. It was just a genuinely good laugh, meaning this was one of the first ever hentai you could watch.
Yo, season 1 of Naruto was almost kind of pushing the button. Remember Sexy Jutsu? I don't know if y'all remember that.
Academic purposes. Wait a minute. Aside from the best girl debate, for once we have several contenders for worst girl of the year. In one corner, we have Rachel from Tower of God, and in the other, Mami from Rent-A-Girlfriend. And I mean, what can you say about the competition? Rachel was a character that felt entitled while happily taking advantage of the people around her to reach her goal. But in the moments that really mattered, spat on everything she was given, giving the biggest middle finger any anime character has given in years.
Dang,
and even further in Webtoons, she continues down this path, literally ruining lives and becoming one of the most truly decrepit and vile female characters I've ever had the displeasure of experiencing. But on the other hand, Mami did lead some guy on. Twitter decided it was now illegal for anyone below 5'3" to possess breasts. Beastars, recent success on Netflix, really changed a lot of perception when it came to 3D anime, and I'm sure Netflix was sitting there like, damn, we want more of this.
What is going on?
The hell? I honestly don't know what world I'm in where this is a real scene from Ghost in the Shell and not some Benny Hill's Looney Tunes skit, but at least they're carrying on the Ghost in the Shell spirit, tackling deep themes of technological existentialism in episodes like Edgelord, the revolution of the 14-year-olds. I repeat, Edgelord, the revolution of the 14-year-olds, which I assure you is an actual GITS episode and not a rejected PewDiePie video. I can't wait for season 2 when we get standalone complex episode 19, Virgin Army, Revenge of the PogChamps. Here's an exclusive clip I just received now. Oops.
Oh.
Japan Sinks was an absolute fucking trip and probably the hardest I laughed at any anime this year, but probably for the wrong reasons. Anime rapper Eminem, Japan Sinks? More like Japan Stick. I honestly feel like there was a big hole this year in terms of anime fights. Normally some of the biggest moments in the year of anime are defined by some of its biggest fights, and this year it just felt like we didn't have too many to pick from. Probably my biggest disappointment was God of High School, which somehow did the impossible and made me not care about the tournament arc. How the fuck do you do that, God of High School? Call it a poor adaptation, rush pacing, bland plot or characters, but this was the one show I really wanted to love, but couldn't. As hard as I tried, I just couldn't get invested in it, and it hurts me showing these clips because I can't think of another time I got to see such beautifully animated and intense fight sequences that I couldn't give less a shit about. Watching this show felt like watching the grown-up version of those fucking stick figure fighting flash videos I thought were the shit as a kid. I honestly feel the best way to enjoy this anime is just to watch the fight sequences out of context on YouTube because you'd get the same amount of enjoyment. But yeah, it's still up there. Some of the best
tough fighting.
Yeah, just how technically impressive they were. But then, in that sense, the best anime fights I saw this year wasn't even from an anime. The legendary team that worked on the Naruto and Sasuke versus
wow.
randomly showed up in a Chinese anime and just casually flexed on everyone by showcasing one of the best animated sequences in all of 2020. Starting things off with a high-intensity free-running scene that absolutely dropped my jaw on the floor, it then proceeds to transition into an insane 1v3 hand-to-hand martial arts brawl that is absolutely dripping in style and swagger.
Oh, wow.
I mean, just look how fucking cool this is. You got all this fancy footwork, the absolute bravado of these exchanges, and then he has the fucking audacity to just grab his hat mid-air after dodging.
That's pretty tough.
It's so cool. You can tell the team have a genuine passion for martial arts in both real life and on film, because it doesn't seem like anyone is even close to touching them when it comes to raw fight choreography. This wasn't just cool for an anime fight, this was just a badass martial arts fight, period. The show is Hitori no Shita, the outcast, by the way. Alright, let's get down to brass taxes. When you hear about a show that starts off with a guy getting hit with a truck that ends on one of my favourite anime of the year lists, I'm sure everyone's first thought is, oh great, another shitty isekai. Gigguk staying on brand as usual, but rest assured, Tonikawa Over the Moon for You is the furthest thing you'd expect me to like. A short, sweet, cute, wholesome story about a simple domestic romance. Wait. In the modern times of anime titties dominating your timeline, anime and hentai deciding it's one and the same, and the world being taken over with degeneracy, it's refreshing to finally see a nice Christian anime with nice Christian values. Tonikawa is the rehabilitation needed for all of those who have once been put into horny jail. There's no complicated dramas, no love triangles, no relationships that need to be prefaced that they're not related by blood, just a story of an actual, decent, responsible human being falling in love with one of the few waifus in anime that, is actually a waifu. Watching Tonikawa is like taking that bath after a long day at work. You feel like your soul is cleansed whenever you finish an episode. It'll cure your depression and give it right back to you when you remember that you'll never get a relationship like this.
Oh, wow.
What'd you say?
Anyway, watch Tonikawa. It's cute. Yeah, Kaguya-sama is still good. Ever since my last video about E&JHITZ and Railgun over 2 years ago, you've always been pretty quiet about the franchise as a whole, and, well, that's because when JC staff adapts an anime, God flips a coin. Would it land heads like for the Konosuba movie? Or would it land tails like for One Punch Man 2, the clusterfuck of E&JHITZ 3, or the underwhelming Accelerator? Damn, that's a lot of tails. But for some unknown reason, science still hasn't been able
One
to
Punch Man
solve
was pretty
whenever
lit,
they
though.
touch anything related to Railgun, it is nothing but heads, heads, and heads. Railgun somehow continues to be far and beyond the best thing the franchise has going for it when it comes to the anime, which kinda makes sense. With the E&JHITZ series having a far greater plot, juggling a bigger cast, squeezing way more story arcs into a single season, it's no wonder that the more focused world of Railgun means the spin-off series outshines the mainline. And, well, it seems like JC staff knew this too, because unlike their other recent adaptations, this is the best the franchise has looked since, well, Railgun. The great animation is back, we have a more down-to-earth story, it's got all the level 5s going at it. This is everything Toaru fans could hope for. Not forgetting it's nice to see the return of everyone's favourite character, CGI wind turbines, baby, oh yeah! I always feel a bit sheep for putting a hot new shonen on the top of my favourites list, because to me it kind of feels like I'm saying, yes, I too enjoy vanilla ice cream, eating white bread and saying Rem is my waifu. But my god, when a show is doing something right, it is doing something right. Watching this first core of Jujutsu Kaisen kind of felt like you discovered that YouTube channel under 10,000 subscribers that you knew was just waiting to blow up. It's a shonen that
Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about, bro.
It's confident enough in its own abilities
That's me.
to still give you a fresh experience. And it does. You can see the groundwork being laid for a truly amazing show because it just seems to have everything going for it. The characters are fresh and likable, the fights have a nice balance between interesting power systems and just pure animation flexing. Gojo's eyes make me question my sexuality as much as a Stolfo stick, and it has an ending that slaps harder than my dad's belt. I feel like it's just waiting for that one big moment, that one big fight to truly take it up to the big leagues, because with Demon Slayer coming back this year from...
Demon Slayer was pretty good.
Kicking everyone's ass. Jesus fucking Christ. 54 million?
Jesus
The sales gap
Christ.
could part the...
But, like, bro, what about, like, Attack on Titan? In my opinion, all jokes aside, I really truly believe Attack on Titan, it might be the best anime. Like, I don't know, maybe that's just me. I don't know how Demon Slayer was good too. I will not lie. Demon Slayer is really, really good. It's like a close tie between Demon Slayer and Attack on Titan. Let's get back to the video.
Red Sea. I can't wait to see if Jujutsu Kaisen is also going to be eating at the big boys table in time. Like, what is it now? Big 3? Big 5? Big 7? How many more are you going to give us, Shonen Jump? This year, the Domestic Girlfriend manga ended and it left a massive hole in my heart. Where was I going to get my fix of a car crash-filled romance story now? How could anything fill the gap this masterpiece had left? Would I finally get some good taste in anime? Luckily, Rent-A-Girlfriend started airing and it all went tumbling down again. This, unironically, became the show I was most excited to catch up to every week. Yes, fuck you, I was more excited for this romance than Kaguya. What can I say? You can take the man out of the trash, but you can't take the trash out of the man. It's another romance anime that follows the formula by the book, but sometimes you just find a show that contains every stupid eye-rolling cliche you've ever complained about, but somehow it balances them all in a way that just works. I don't know what it is about seeing people going through a train wreck of a romance situation that's just so addicting to watch.
You know what I did? I went on Grindr, and dude, I was a hit on Grindr, by the way. I was a hit on Grindr almost instantly.
Word?
But then I literally saw my dad.
Rent-A-Girlfriend was just that perfect kind of a train wreck. It may not be highbrow entertainment, but it knows how to keep you watching. You may be infuriated watching this living brat moment in action. You may be screaming at the screen for him to leave his hoe on the streets. You may want to buy this guy a fucking pint for just telling it how it is, but by God, you just gotta click on the next episode for this morbid curiosity, just to see how many more L's a single man can take. Jesus Christ.
Jesus Christ. That's what I was gonna say too, bro.
Yes? I'd like to report a fucking murder. Three candidates for both the best and worst girl of the year in one show. I've already talked enough about the waifu masterpiece that is Chizuru, but I'm equally impressed at how good a job they did at creating the most detestable serpent of a human in Mami. Everything she does makes me want to drop a C-bomb so hard, I'd get an honorary citizenship to Australia.
All that vocal fry and everything.
Cunt. And it hurts me that for some reason, I still see people who think Mami is alright. And I genuinely don't know if they're just trolling or if I'm just interacting with a psychopath. Like, come on guys, you're joking. You gotta be joking, right? There's no way you're not joking. They say a good salesman can sell ice to Eskimos, and here Rent-A-Girlfriend is casually selling trash to garbage men. What? Cunt.
Whoa.
I have this really strange addiction on YouTube about watching videos on subjects I have absolutely no knowledge in.
Dude, that's me too!
Centered around my hobbies, I find it fascinating watching passionate people present their interests because sometimes a bit of that passion can rub off onto you. There's just something magical about watching people do the things they love, and this is exactly how I felt watching Keep Your Hands Off Eizouken. Masaki Yuasa essentially just made a 12-episode personal love letter to animation, and you can feel that passion bleed through every single frame of this show. Eizouken was so strongly imbued with such an overwhelming excitement for the art form that it was infectious, even if you had zero interest in it. You don't need to have ever tried making an anime because anyone who's worked on something creative, I'm sure, has a little bit of all three of the girls fighting inside you whenever you work on a new project. The one who thinks up wild ideas you may or may not actually be able to do, the one who wants the project to be perfect and won't settle for anything less, and the one who has resting breath face. The constant struggle of having a vision you want to be realized versus the practicality of achieving it in a reasonable time frame while also not forgetting the economics of labor was something I deeply related to, but what really shines through is Yuasa's pure love for animation. There's this episode where one of the girls sees her grandma throwing tea and something about the way it looked fascinates her. She does it again and again, over and over, cleaning up and throwing more tea, trying to recreate every little detail, every little movement, until eventually this random childhood story would be translated into an animation cut that would appear in their anime for less than a second. Yet, somehow, this one little meaningless cut conveyed a sense of personal love that struck a deep chord with me. If there was something magical about the art of animation, Yuasa definitely showcased it here. After 2019's adaptation of Attack on Titan and Vinland Saga, watching Great Pretender made me wonder if Studio Witch should be reported for aimbotting, because right now, these motherfuckers just don't miss. The heist genre is something we don't normally see in anime aside from Lupin the Third and, well, that's about it. But I am not overstating it when I say Great Pretender is the greatest heist anime since Lupin the Third.
Huh.
Only big statements here. Following a group of professional swindlers who are like the modern day Robin Hoods, except they steal from the rich and give to themselves.
Yeah.
It felt like a truly AAA anime production. The unique genres, the gorgeous color palettes, and allowing me to officially say that Freddie Mercury is in an anime OST. But most of all, it was refreshing to have an anime that truly felt international. Not only did we get a wider range of settings globally from LA, London, Shanghai, France, Singapore, and Tokyo, hustling drugs, hustling gambling, hustling world famous paintings from painters everyone's heard about, but the worldwide feeling was reflected in the characters themselves. Way more attention to detail was given to the characters speaking different languages and how fluent they should actually sound, as opposed to most other shows where it just felt like they just got a random guy off the streets. Native voice actors were used to dub not only characters in their respective countries, but also the main cast too. It really looks like they used this medium to its full advantage to make it feel like these were truly well-traveled, multilingual characters, which can often be a challenge to pull off in movies.
They call him Samurai. He speaks fluent Japanese.
What does katana mean? It means Japanese sword.
Samurai
I was
cop.
actually going to put this as my anime of the year until the last 2 episodes happened. Alright, this is going to be my only chance, so I really need to rant about this ending. So if you don't want to be spoiled, skip to the timestamp here, because I really need to get this off my chest.
Okay, I don't like spoilers, so we're gonna skip to 1834. Sorry guys. And here we are.
Feel like eating McDonald's chicken nuggets. Dorohedoro just felt so insanely different from anything else I watched this year. If most anime was like taking a stroll down a bright city center, Dorohedoro was the homeless bum trying to stab you when you took the wrong turn in the back alley. It wasn't cutesy, it wasn't squeaky clean, it was a brutal psychedelic tour through anime's underbelly, and it was awesome. There's something so fascinating about being dropped into a world that doesn't follow any logic you're familiar with, and yet seems to function in a way that makes sense under the foundation it was constructed in. The world of Dorohedoro feels absolutely alien. There are sorcerers that can do magic because they have dust in their body. Our main character has a lizard head and another head inside his head. This man can turn everything around him into mushrooms.
Crazy.
And the liquor smokes them. We even got Gargura preparing for her HoloLive debut. Yet somehow all this makes sense under the insane logic of its own world. Seeing the universe function under its own twisted sense of coherency just made me want to learn more about it. Every episode was just a treat to see a new side of this world operate. It was unflinchingly brutal, yet didn't feel out of place when you saw a 9-foot talking cockroach wearing Air Jordans, called with Jordan, almost kill a granddad because they're doing a Jun Maeda baseball episode. This was one of the most unique experiences you can find in 2020, and all I can say is, Season 2 better be around the corner, because 12 episodes was not nearly enough to contain the insanity that is Dorohedoro.
I agree. It's a really great anime. I'm gonna just pause it here because, just because it's getting a little too long, but it's a great video. If you want to watch the rest, the link will be down below. I appreciate y'all for tuning in and watching this with me. I love y'all. Peace out, baby.